Hello everybody, this is Reviews and More, and this is not really a review. This is going to be part of a series of videos I do, mainly because I started doing this in my everyday life, and I figured, hey, let's make videos about it. And I'm going to call it Eating Poor with Reviews and More, because you have to eat a little more poor right now, mainly because things are too expensive because of inflation, food price increases, etc. And a lot of the cost that kind of gets passed on to us consumers is through little items like this that are really just very, very inexpensive to make, but are often marked up. This one in particular is the Taipei Foods brand beef and broccoli. Like it's a little microwave meal in cardboard. Nothing too special about it, but at the grocery store where I bought it was $3.69, and that's for a 10-ounce container. And we're going to basically break this thing apart, itemize it all out, and see how much it costs to make it on your own. And then obviously you can scale that out and do food storage calculations, see what exactly can be saved. Now, if you are someone who trusts me and is like, I think you're honest, everything you've done is good, hit the like button, go down the description. You'll see all the various description portions that include the pricing, the breakdown of the weight of all the various parts of this Taipei food, beef and broccoli thing, and kind of lays it out for you without you watching the whole video and seeing me cook this stuff and kind of going through my methodology and how I get this all done. But if you don't want to do that, you can just continue watching and you'll see kind of what's going on here. All right, so there's that entire thing. That's what you would throw in the microwave. It would heat up, and you have basically some kind of sort of fried rice, some frozen broccoli, a little bit of frozen onion, and a few slivers of shaved frozen grade D or F beef. And that's really all there is to the meal itself. There's not a whole lot else to it, so we're going to portion everything out, get all the beef into one bowl, get all the rice and the sauce, because the rice and the sauce are what's mixed together, and get all the broccoli and vegetables into a separate bowl. The only portions of this meal that are pre-cooked and just basically flash frozen again to be reheated are the beef, which they claim is seasoned. I don't know how seasoned they really are, and the rice, which they claim is fried rice. It doesn't really even taste like fried rice. It tastes like rice. They put some flavoring on top of to make it taste kind of like it was fried, maybe a little bit of just soy sauce, maybe a little bit of sesame, but obviously you don't see the chopped up egg. There's nothing else in. There's no other fried rice vegetables. They just call it fried rice. So this is basically just standard short grain white rice. Nothing too special about it. Getting all the veggies out, getting all the beef out, and we'll run through the weights in just 1 or 2 seconds here. So there's all the little piece of parts. That's everything that they claim is worth, in total $5.90 per pound, because they come in 10-ounce containers and they were $3.60. So here is the price of the beef. The beef they use inside the Taipei frozen meal is like a grade D, really low quality beef. I picked this up at Sam's Club. This is just, I think it was bottom round. It was some of the cheapest stuff I could find without it being either Salisbury steak or being ground beef itself. So let's weigh. First, we're going to weigh out all that super fun rice and sauce. We're going to add that together. It's about 6 ounces in total. We're going to basically lay out about a ½ ounce in our calculations for sauces, because one, sauces don't cost much, and second, they don't really weigh much. Second is going to be veggies, a total of 3 ounces in the veggies here. Again, these are bog standard, nothing special. These veggies aren't even seasoned inside of there. They weren't stir-fried or pre-cooked. They're basically just raw frozen vegetables. Sorry, not raw. They're frozen vegetables that were frozen raw, so they were never cooked at any point. So any frozen bag of veggies will basically do the same thing you get at your grocery store. It's the same stuff. And then finally, the piece de resistance, the most expensive item in here, is the beef. So you get 1 whole ounce of beef in this entire meal. So the equivalent to, I think if you break down the servings of meat, that's like maybe 1/4 of a standard serving of meat in there. And it's obviously already been cooked, so that's the post-cooking weight of 1 whole ounce. This is where you get the 13 grams of protein for the most part inside this meal. So really not a whole lot to work with here. Very, very small amount of meat, but we're still going to mimic and copy the recipe and ratios and weights as they are here. Real fast, we're going to chop it up. We're just going to do a quick stir fry. It's not going to be anything special. This is not high-quality meat. This is just standard everyday meat. If you want to make it a little more tender, freeze it first, then cook it, but for our purposes, it wasn't really relevant. Wasn't super chewy, wasn't super tender. It worked just fine. Still tasted better than the beef that was in the actual Taipei frozen meal. We're going to weigh it out just so you know my calculations. 7 ounces. When it was cooked, reduced to about 5, so we end up with about 37 cents per cooked ounce. So real fast, just throw it in there. The only sauce being used here is going to be a Buffalo Wild Wings Caribbean jerk sauce at the end. We're going to mix it in the rice and the soy sauce here. So nothing too crazy here. It's very inexpensive. I allocated about 20 cents in total cost for the sauces, both used in the cooking as well as what was used in the actual rice. And you can also always transfer the sauce over into the rice if you want to save that additional nickel or whatever you want to allocate out. So there is the beef being cooked. And there it is weighing out. We're going to see it set to about 5 ounces just to prove to you what it kind of reduces to. And those ratios are pretty standard. You're just cooking off a little bit of water. No nutrition's functionally lost. But that's what you're getting. And we're trying to compare apples to apples here, so I made sure I cooked it relatively thoroughly to make sure it was at least decent. I will say the beef that's in the Taipei meal is pretty dry. So this beef is actually a little bit less dry, is actually a little more moist, obviously. So we might be kind of underestimating how much beef we're supposed to use, but I didn't want to use like dry, nasty beef the way they do in the Taipei meals. So there you see about 5.3 ounces. So it loses about 2 ounces in weight total. Nothing too crazy, and we just kind of run the math from there. So 1 ounce of cooked beef in this context at $4.28 a pound for that bottom round is going to be 37 cents per ounce. Remember, we're trying to beat $3.69 for the total cost of this entire meal, and we're going to beat it pretty well, but just kind of want to know what you're going for. The next thing is the rice. Rice, in my opinion, is one of the most perfect foods out there. It is one of the most economical and easy to prepare and use grains. It adapts and takes on the flavor of so much. It is very hard for someone to say, I don't like rice, because there's so many ways to cook it, and I love basing any meal around rice just because it makes it so much easier to have a lot of versatility. So 10 ounces of cooked rice is about 27 cents based on buying it in a 50-pound bag. It really doesn't change that much unless you're buying like this boiling bag rice. Don't do that. It's too expensive. But if you cook rice, it should be about a total of 6 cents per serving in this context of 6 ounces of cooked rice. The broccoli is really easy. It's $1.69 per pound, 3 ounces, 33 cents a piece for each and every recipe you make. And it'll be all set to go. And the amounts are about the same. It fits about the same. And then finally the 6 cents per rice. We're going to lay out every little piece of it. Get the rice out there ready to go. Once we get the rice in, we'll throw a little bit of sauce. I'm really going to go for about 5.5 ounces of rice. We're not going to go for 6. I think there's some spicy garlic Caribbean jerk kind of stuff from Buffalo Wild Wings. You can use any sauce you want. There you go. That's about all it takes to flavor it and spice it up a little bit. Throw in the broccoli. Clear out we're trying to add up to 10. We're going for 10 ounces. So when you see that scale get to 10, I realize it's kind of out of frame. I apologize for that. When it gets to 10 ounces, you're kind of basically where you need to be. So we got sauces for 20 cents. Broccoli's 33 cents. So we're now at a grand total of about 60 cents. Now we're going to add the beef in. That adds up 37. So now we're in the low 80s. For a total of 96 cents. So 96 cents. So a total savings of about $2.73. And that doesn't sound like much. And it seems like a lot of labor. But guys, here's the thing. I was filming this, doing all this together, cooking the rice in the rice cooker. You can always boil it in a pot if you want to. All that stuff took less than half an hour. You can do this at scale, get 10 of these meals ready to go, and that's $27. That's so $27 for an hour of effective work. So you're looking at saving a good bit of money just by avoiding this, and it's going to taste so much better than that microwave meal. And if you want to, you can prep these, vacuum seal them, throw them into a container, put them in the freezer. They freeze just fine because that's how they're served to you in the Taipei meals. It's okay to freeze all this, and it'll be just fine. Just make sure it's sealed to avoid freezer burn, and this can last for weeks in the freezer. And you will save a substantial amount of money, especially over time. If you're the kind of person that sits there and takes their lunch to work and microwaves it, and they pay almost $4 for it, or I think we weighed it out $5.90 a pound, you can avoid that by doing this. And it takes 30 minutes to an hour of your time, one day a week, to kind of set you up for 5 lunch meals during the week if that's how you eat. So it's a great way to kind of do a cost savings. So this is going to be the first chapter. Hopefully I'll do more. If this is relatively successful, I'll keep doing more of eating poor with reviews and more. I hope it was helpful. I hope it kind of explained how to break this stuff out and kind of show just what level of markup you're dealing with when you're buying these meals ready to go at the grocery store. You're paying an awful lot for that convenience factor when really you're talking about 1 hour. And unless you're making like $50-$60 an hour at your job, that $27 for 1 hour's work is going to really pay off over time if you just take the time to do it. Thank you. Have a great day.